Hi guys, it's Brian here at the Peace of Eden Homestead, and today I am wanting to point out my raised bed gardens here. I plan to build several more for the homestead, but first, a friend of my son's is opening a rehab center called Morgan's. I think it's Morgan's Rehab. I'll have to look into that. But anyway, they want some raised bed gardens that are wheelchair accessible. And so what I'm going to do today is go out and mill the lumber for those, and my son and I and several other volunteers are going to build them on site. Hopefully I'll be able to get video of us putting them together there too. But today, all we're going to put in this video is just to show you the plans that we have, or that I made for the raised beds, and then we'll bring you back and show me milling the lumber for the raised beds themselves. So I'll show you the plans. Actually, first I'll probably walk you around this, and then I'll show you the plans that I've made, and then from there we'll go out to the tree that we're going to cut the lumber from, and then to the mill. So follow along. I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks. So here's a bit more of a close-up of these raised beds I have in the garden. I only did 2 last year to try them out. They work great. On mine, I put this trellis here to allow me to grow tomatoes and beans and cucumbers up, and then I can just, walk under and pick the fruit as it's hanging down. And then I also grew some bush tomatoes in these tomato cages I built just out of scrap oak lumber that I had, and they work great. I really loved them. I put them level so it's easy to have a single watering system in. I didn't put a watering system in yet, but that's what I did for future when I do put the watering system from the artesian well. And then in between them, I had cleared out all the topsoil down to the, there's only a couple inches, but then down to the sand, and that keeps most weeds from growing. In fact, you can see a couple little tiny ones growing in there, but that's all that grew since last year. So, and then I got some wood shavings on top of that from the planer in the shop. So from here, let's go and take a look at, oh, I guess I should explain, the sides are 2-inch thick and 3 feet tall, and the beds are 4 feet by 8 feet. And then I put these 4x4 posts, I sink them down into the ground. Although these are screwed together, I didn't want to just count on the screws, so I put the 4x4s to keep the box from pulling apart. So I have 2 at every corner, just like that. We're doing something quite a bit different on the wheelchair accessible ones. These could be wheelchair accessible. They're just a little tall, and the ones we're going to build are going to be so that you can pull your wheelchair right up under it and then reach over the top. So let me show you the plans I drew up, and I'll be right with you. Kind of a big mess. I got another project going on here and another one in the shop. I'm building some cabinets in the shop. This is some of our lumber out of the kiln that's already been dried, and these are for the beehives I'm building, and some hive or some swarm traps. So these are the plans I have. You go this way so I'm not casting a shadow. So the ends are going to be this kind of a Y-shaped bed. It'll be filled here, and this is the top, and then the ends will be covered here and screwed into the Y shape to hold it there. And I'll also have a support piece underneath it here that goes the full shape of the Y, kind of like this support piece here, and reflected on the other side as well. And with this style, you'll basically have 2 sections that are 5 feet each, and then the gardener will be able to wheel their wheelchair right up underneath. There's a 10-inch rise here, so there's room for their feet, and then it comes up at an angle, and this part here is 32 inches off the ground, which is kind of an ideal height to work with from a wheelchair and still be able to reach in. So These will be 4 feet by 10 feet. That way I could get some wider sections here. So what I'm going to do now is go cut that log into a 10-foot section to get all the boards for these side pieces here. So I'll come back to you at the log. So this is the log right here. Homer and I cut this down. What was it? Probably about a year ago. It is about 14 feet long, and at that end it's almost 2.5 feet in diameter. This end it's 21 inches in diameter. So I think we'll be able to get a lot of the lumber we need, and hopefully, well, I know for sure I have some more logs out in the mill yard that I can use to make up any difference. So that was a big log when we cut it down. Actually, I cut it down. Homer was here to help me with cutting all the limbs and stuff off of it. But it was actually a really close call, because you can see this part right here sticking out farther than the rest of the log. Well, the chainsaw only has a 20-inch bar, and I was trying to come in from both sides when I was cutting it down. And when I was cutting that side with the chainsaw only to here, it started to go. And when it started to go, this piece right here acted as a hinge, which caused the tree, which I was aiming for down there, which I barely miss what I'm aiming for when I hardly ever miss what I'm aiming for when I'm cutting a tree down, but should have been easy to run it right down there. But instead, it landed right there. You can see the other end of it just past the boat there, and it just missed this shed. In fact, if not for bouncing off the side of this tree right here and another one that we cut down since then it probably would have been a pretty big catastrophe. So got, very fortunate that it didn't hit it. Now, the tree now is pointing over here because I slid it out of the way with the tractor when I was working with some other parts of the log. All in all, this tree was 2.5 feet at the base, and I think we measured it was 75 or 80 feet tall. So it went way down into the woods there, but the rest of the tree's been used already, and this section's just waiting to be used. And I thought, what could be better than to use it for a charitable cause and help some people out, and let them enjoy their gardening a little more easily from their position. So all right, so I'm going to cut this to 10 feet long so I can handle it, because the tractor will not pick this one up because it's a big log. But I'm going to cut this and then head down to the mill. I'm trying to keep this video a little shorter than my normal one, so I'll head down to the mill and get this loaded on the mill, and from there I'll start the video back up. Well, I didn't think I'd be able to get the whole thing lifted up with the tractor, but I was just barely able to get it. It was kind of tippy and rocky, but I'm going to get to milling this, and I'll bring you guys along with me while I do this. Probably speed the video up so you don't have to sit through the whole thing, but thought I'd at least show you one of the logs that I'll be milling for this project for Morgan's place. All right, so I got this up here. I got it's 16 inches wide, and I was going up 6 inches from the center and then 6 inches down the center, so I can have a 12-inch piece here and then flip it and cut 8 2x12s out of that one log right there, plus anything I can get off of the offcuts. But surprise, surprise, in this log I pulled out a big old like one of those climbing steps you'd use for a deer stand, and what do you know, I just cut the head off a nail right there. So that's a lesson to me to look this stuff over a little better before I mill it, because I just sharpened the blade on the bandsaw mill, and that kind of dulls the teeth pretty bad when you cut through metal. So anyway, I'm going to dig this out and then I can get back to work. There you have it. I think I'm going to take a walk around this log and see if I can see anything else before I go any farther. Can't always see them, but I do my best. All right, so I've got it all set back up. Got a fresh blade on, and I'll go ahead and flatten this side. Then I'm going to roll it over and cut it down to 12 inches thick. Then I'll roll it back up and take that 12-inch by 16-inch piece and cut it into 8 2x12. So I'll get going on that. I'll high speed through this like I did the other things and get this stack done and come back to you. That new blade really did the trick. It's perfectly smooth and flat now, so I should make good progress from here on out if I don't hit more metal. Well, remember when I said it's a good idea to check the log for metal, and I probably ought to do that when I flip the log over? Well, sure enough, I forgot. And this 3/8 of an inch diameter hunk of steel sticking out of the log just fried a freshly sharpened blade. So I'm gonna have to dig this out. I'm gonna need a chisel probably to get this one out, but I'll dig this one out and put another new blade on and then get back to it. So anyway, that's what I get for forgetting. So I'll get all that taken care of and come back. So now that I dug that piece out, I can see that this This goes down and then comes across here. So it's probably another one of those steps that you use for climbing trees, like to your tree stand. So it's probably one of those steps that got cut off somewhere along the line. I can see, or broken. This end is messed up a little bit, but it will, I might have to dig it out like all around here to get down to where I can unscrew it. Might have to take this part off too. So it's going to be a bit of a job. So now that I can turn this that way, I got it out of my way to get in here and take this part out. So it should be a little easier because I won't keep hitting the metal. So that's long enough that I need to take this part out too. And since that's so far away now, I've got that chiseled back that far, I can just bring my axe in and take care of it from here a little faster. Let's see if that's enough room. There you have it. Good size hunk of metal. Will grind the teeth off your saw blade in a hurry. Coincidentally, I don't know if you can tell in the video how fresh these cuts are and how these cuts here are kind of withered. That's because this is where I took out another one of these this winter. It was covered in snow, but I knew I wanted to mill this log, so I cut this out to get the other one of these out of the log this winter. So anyway, now I really am going to go and take a look to see if there's any other metal in this log before I change the blade and get started again. And sure enough, found one more. This is a smaller one. I think this was probably a hook or something right near the end of the log, but here's one cut. Next cut's going to be here. I might have encased it inside of a board, but that was going in there like that, so it might have caught the next blade I put on. So glad I went through, swept most of the dirt off the log and checked all the way along it. And had I not done that, I probably would have hit this one too. So all right, now I can change the blade and get back to it. All right, got a new blade on. Hopefully all the metal's gone. We are back in business, baby. Let's get to work. All right, so it's clouding up real nice. We're supposed to get some rain this afternoon. Got that cut. That's 8 2x12s, full 2 by full 12 inches. I also have another one on the tractor that I got out of one of the top curve pieces. And well, let me flip you around, I'll show you. So I got this singular 2x12 out of the top round. I got this board that's actually wider than 12 inches, but on the far end it's got a lot of wane. I might be able to use part of this somewhere in the project, but I have plenty more where that came from. And we've got these 8 2x12s. By the way, if you're in the market for a nice sawmill, pretty happy with this Timber King. One of the best things about it is it's got a full, I think it's 18-inch, 17-inch cut depth between the blade and the top bar. So that's really helpful because you can cut a whole stack. A lot of sawmills, this area here is a lot smaller, so you have to stop and unload boards and then stop and unload boards if you're working by yourself and don't have somebody to unload for you. Anyway, so I need a bunch more lumber for this project, and I have some more logs over here. That's one of the boards I got out of the round there. But I have these 3 more red pine logs here. I should be able to get the rest of what I need for this project out of. If not, I have lots of logs all over the place that I can use. Just not many pine ones, and I'd rather stick with the same species. So, well, let me flip you back around. So I'll unload this and stack it up like I'll show you these before I go. At the end of this video, I'm going to add in a picture of the plans I have if you want to, pause the video and get an idea of what we're doing, or build some for yourself or some friends of yours or anybody that needs wheelchair accessible raised beds. But before I do that, I'll actually walk you over and show you how I'm stacking this so that the boards, if they're left like they are, they'll get moldy in between. So you put spacers, they call them stickers, in between the boards to hold them apart so air can flow through there. So I got a stack of 2x10s over here that I'm also using for this project. So I'm gonna walk you over and show you that, and then plug the pictures in at the end of the video, and I'll wrap this video up. I'm trying to keep it short. It ran a little longer than I had planned because of all of the metal I hit and all that fun stuff. So anyway, I'll walk you over, plug in a quick video of what I'm stacking them like, and then get these unloaded. I won't drag you through all that, but the follow-up video for this will be at Morgan's place, and hopefully I can give her a chance to tell what she's got going and how she's helping people. So I'll do that when we're building these, actually. So you'll probably see this video and then have to wait a little while because it's still a couple weeks away before we have the volunteer day. And then when we have that video, that'll be part 2 of building wheelchair accessible raised bed gardens. So thanks for joining me. If you want to help us out, I'd love it if you could share the video, like it, subscribe, all that, yada, yada. But trying to build up the channel, so any help you can give us, I'd really appreciate it. So thanks a lot. Have a good day.